welcome. My name is Mike Schrage, president of GNPI here in Joplin, Missouri, Good News Productions International. And we've been doing these episodes during this interesting time called Faith Greater Than Fear. And we're just talking to people, everyday people that are housewives and husbands. They have families, they're grandparents, they've got entrepreneurial, they got their own businesses, and just asking them as people of faith how they are dealing with issues today. So today I have with me a dear friend of mine, Max Allison from Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Max.
Hi, Mike.
I'm so glad for you. I know you're a very busy man during this time, like some of us are, to give us a little bit of time. And I know as a great Christian, tell us first how you and Barb are doing personally, and then just how you two are coping in your home during this time.
Well, fortunately, we're both healthy and everything's going pretty well. We're sequestered at home because of my work. They've ordered everybody to work from home. So I've been setting up shop here in the house, and that is a challenge for Barbara, my wife, because she's not used to having me around all the time. So I'm trying to be as good a guest as I possibly can during this time, but it's been fine. We're doing okay, and way better than so many people out there that are suffering. So, and God has blessed us with weather that is just unbelievable. The last 2 or 3 weeks has been absolutely beautiful outside.
Well, I know one of the things we're hoping in the Midwest and on the East Coast and other countries is that the warmer weather and the better temperatures would maybe be one of God's applications to preventing the spread of the virus in that regard. So hopefully that will be the case for you all in Phoenix. And I think that'll roll right into my next question after you explain what you do, is how the markets and so forth is impacting so many people today. How do you as a person of faith address your work and address the realities in your workplace with the market situation coming up right now?
Well, about 27 years ago, my brother invited me to come join him in the financial services business, and we're financial advisors along with his son-in-law. And we worked for Morgan Stanley for 20 years, and we moved over to Wells Fargo Advisors probably 7 years ago or so. So we help people plan for their retirement and or whatever their goals are to get where they need to be financially. And that's pretty much what we do. This time has been extremely challenging, as I'm sure you realize.
So probably record losses, record changes that we've seen in the stock market, and on paper, on the grass right now, quite a bit of loss. With your faith, what do you tell your clients, or what would you like to tell our audience who also have maybe mutual funds and have investments and things? What would you tell them they should be doing right now?
Well, generally, when you have 2 different cases. One would be where the market pulls back less than 20% and goes forward. And it's very hard sometimes, especially when it happens very quickly, to hold tight and stay the course and ride through it, and you come out fine. And we've been through many of those. This one, when it hit, I was not expecting the severity. And the virus, there have been many other viruses just like it. We're all corrections. But this one was so severe that it's pretty much caused a bear market. The market went down. It exceeded the 20%. And thought, well, maybe it'll bounce back and we'll be right through this thing and it won't be a big deal. In fact, initially when it got to 10%, I was convinced it was just a correction like the rest of the viruses that we've had. And, SARS, the bird flu, Ebola, H1N1, all those caused the market a little jolt, but nothing severe. This one turned out to be that severe. Every bit of information we were receiving was that we're going to just blow right through this thing and get back on with a good economy, which is what we had. But you got to keep in mind that the market was being supported by earnings from companies that were doing well. And now when you freeze those companies to where they're not operating, you get no earnings and you get a setback that's going to be very hard to recover from. Now, I'm a very optimistic guy and try to remain as upbeat as I possibly can. But when nobody's going to work and they're not earning anything, you can't expect the market to just jump right back to those levels. So this is going to take longer. And I don't know how long, because I don't know how long we're going to be out of work. But I know that every day we go with countries down, it's going to take longer to get it back. And eventually it'll pass. People will go back to work. Companies start making money again, and we'll work our way back up. That is, the American dream, free enterprise, capitalism. That's what our country was built on. And fortunately, we had founding fathers that had faith and built our country based on that faith. Today, a little bit different. So there's another dynamic in there. We know that the free enterprise works, free markets work, or at least they have all this time. But I don't put my faith in that. I do the best I can with what I know. And if it doesn't work, if things don't work out, I know that God's there and he'll provide. And that's really my main concern. Now, put yourself in my position, talking to a client that's not necessarily a believer. I can give them hints, but if I start telling them what they should believe, they will shut it down right away, I believe. But the good news is I have a number of Christian clients, and they are the easiest to talk to because they don't put their faith in their wealth.
Well, what I'm hearing, Max, is really, folks, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint, in terms of kind of turning it around. And it's going to get amplified for every day longer. It's going to take not just another day, but exponentially days for every day that we're closed. But you mentioned your faith, and I've always appreciated you being a person of faith and also a culturally relevant wealth advisor in a sense. Tell me, on the faith aspect, you're a church leader. You and your wife Barb work a lot with younger couples and families and marriages and so forth. What do you anticipate, maybe moving away from the markets over into the marriages? What are you anticipating as a kind of an expert counselor, seeing as the tensions on families, particularly young couples that are either married, newly married, or getting ready to get married? What do you anticipate happening there?
Well, typically when you go through a crisis, You either turn to God or you turn away from him, one or the other. And I have seen an awful lot of families pulling together, walking together, riding their bikes together. Like I said, we've had some great weather, so they've been outside an awful lot. And it's so good to see, because so many times both parents are working while the kids are in school, or latchkey kids are in daycare, and they're actually getting to spend time together. That is wonderful. It's going to pay off. And even with my daughter's a school teacher in Arlington, Texas, and they're both at kids most of, and they're loving it. They're absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Kids might be getting a little spoiled with, parents, spending so much time with them, but that's good. It's needed.
As one person I interviewed recently said, Mike, we need to be careful not to waste away this opportunity and just kind of bide our time and tread water. We need to maximize in maybe areas where we haven't. You just highlighted one, that is, husband, enjoy your wife. Wife, appreciate your husband. Parents, take this time to be out with your children. Children, relish the fact that you've got mom and dad around. Let's not waste this. As one other person said, a quarantine is in the Latin means 40. There's 40 days of maybe opportunity to really get some things strengthened again. So appreciate the insights. As we start to kind of wrap this up, Max, what would be the principles, if you could say, man, Mike, for your audience that we're talking to together, these are the one or two takeaways I really, if there were my grandkids or my kids right now, or a colleague or peer, these are the two takeaways I'd like for you to remember during this quarantined, isolated pandemic that we find ourselves in. What would they be?
Well, as far as the family goes, I would say take advantage of that opportunity. Find ways to spend time with your kids. Find ways to spend time with your spouse. Make the most of it. Instead of being concerned, you turn the TV off, because you can only hear numbers so many times of how many people got it and how many people have died. Forget all that and focus on each other and the family, which is really the most important. The investments, they'll take care of themselves. Given them the proper amount of time, do what you know to do. And God wants me to do the best I can with what I have. That doesn't mean that that's where my faith is. That doesn't mean that's going to make it or break it for me. Because before all this started, when the market was making all-time highs, I went in and I sat down with my brother and I said, the other day I was thinking, this can all just go away just as fast as it came. But the good news is it won't make any difference. Spending the rest of our life in eternity, the rest of eternity with God in heaven, there is no better. There's nothing to fear. Only that which to look forward to.
Right.
It doesn't get any better. And I've had many times where I've had a lot less money and hardly enough to make it through the month. And I've had other times where I've had excess. And it didn't matter. I was just as happy both times, and always will be. Because, my peace is in the Lord, and He'll provide no matter what.
That's right. So basically what Max Allison is telling us today is enjoy your family, relish the time. When it came to the financial and so forth, it's not what's going to give you the joy. And if anything, to play on the words of the stock market, is take stock in Jesus and in that kingdom. That's what's going to endure. So, Max Allison, thank you so much. Greetings to your wife, Barb. Enjoy those by Zoom calls, your daughters and son-in-laws and grandchildren. I know you do. And for all of you, we want to say again, thank you for a few of your precious minutes to tune in, to listen to our brother Max Allison, and to gain a few more glimpses and a few more nuggets that hopefully will encourage you to have, as this series says, to have your faith be greater than fear. So stay tuned again, Max. Thank you very much. And we'll look forward to coming into your homes again soon.
Thank you. Stay safe.